Welcome back, focused learners. Let's jump right into today's explainer, because we're embarking on a truly fascinating journey. We're going to explore how one of the most rigorous, perfectly preserved oral traditions in human history, the step-by-step process of learning and memorizing the Quran, is actually thriving in our modern digital age. We're looking at how this ancient, meticulous science is being digitized and mastered across the globe today, literally right from people's living rooms.
Okay, let's dive into this with a pretty heavy quote from the legendary scholar Imam Ibn al-Jazari. He framed this as an issue of absolute necessity, stating that whoever does not apply Tajweed to the Quran is a sinner. Now, Tajweed is the strict set of rules governing Quranic pronunciation. So this tells us right away that proper pronunciation in this tradition, it's a strict, non-negotiable requirement. It's definitely not just a suggestion, it's an exact science.
So this naturally leads us to a pretty massive, provocative question. How on earth do millions of non-Arabic speakers master this ancient oral science today? I mean, think about the immense challenge here. You're trying to learn perfectly measured, mathematically precise Arabic recitation, but your daily language is English and you live in London, New York, or Toronto. How do you bridge a 1,400-year linguistic gap from your laptop?
Well, here is our roadmap for the explainer. We're going to build our understanding exactly how a student builds their skills, step by step. First, the historical blueprint. Second, laying the foundation with the Qalida. Third, building the structure through Tajweed. Fourth, the pinnacle of memorization, Hifz. And finally, the modern scaffolding of digital academies. All right, let's start with step 1, the blueprint, or the origins of Tajweed.
You see, the rules of Tajweed have an unbroken chain of oral transmission. It all starts way back in the 7th century, where Islamic tradition states the Prophet Muhammad received the exact sounds, pauses, and rhythms of the text from the angel Jibreel. By the 9th century, as a lot of non-Arab populations embraced Islam, scholars like Imam Abu Ubaid al-Qasim bin Salam had to formalize these oral rules into a written system just to prevent pronunciation errors. Fast forward to today, the 21st century, and we have global digital academies adapting these very same ancient, strict rules for worldwide online learning. The medium has completely changed, but the phonetic blueprint, it remains exactly the same.
Moving on to step 2, laying the foundation, which is known as the Quranic Qaida. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the Quranic Qaida breaks down the alphabet visually before any reading actually begins. It's the non-negotiable foundation of this whole architectural build. I mean, a student doesn't just jump into reading the Quran. It would be like trying to read Shakespeare without knowing the English alphabet. So here, they master the individual Arabic letters, learning to recognize them and produce their unique phonetic sounds perfectly. Next up, the curriculum forces students to distinguish between letters that have visually similar shapes but entirely different sounds based entirely on dot placement. They literally have to master the exact mouth and tongue positions to hit the correct Arabic tone, and this is heavily supervised by their teacher to ensure no bad habits are formed early on. Finally, we conclude the foundation phase by connecting everything. Students learn the complex rules of linking these letters, mastering short vowels, long vowels, and markers like tanween, which are specific double vowel sounds at the end of words. Only now do they actually begin forming words. With consistent practice of, say, 20 to 30 minutes a day, this entire foundational process takes a beginner about 2 to 4 months to complete.
Okay, step 3, building the structure with the rules of Tajweed.
So Tajweed is a highly structured, sequential methodology. You absolutely cannot skip levels. You must master one before unlocking the next. It begins with makharij, literally mapping the exact physical origin of every letter in the mouth and throat. Then comes sifat, mastering physical characteristics, like whether a letter should sound heavy or maybe have a whistling quality. Next, students apply complex rules governing specific letters, learning when to use ikfa to hide a sound or idgham to merge it. Finally, they perfect the rules of elongation and pausing. It is just a brilliant, layered system of acoustic precision. But here's the thing, you simply cannot learn this from a book or a YouTube video alone. To master Tajweed, you absolutely need real-time correction from a qualified teacher. And the gold standard for a teacher is holding what's called an Ijazah. This is a formal certification proving that this specific teacher has recited the entire text flawlessly to a master scholar who recited it to their master, all the way in an unbroken chain of oral transmission stretching back 14 centuries. Incredible, right? Now for step 4, the pinnacle, the intense science of Hifz, or memorization. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer mathematical rigor required here. Look at this daily repetition strategy recommended by scholars. It is staggering. On day 1, a student memorizes a new block of text and repeats it 500 times. But by day 4, they are repeating new material 500 times, while simultaneously reviewing yesterday's material 150 times, the day before that 50 times, and the day before that 10 times. It is a rigorous mental workout designed to shift a 600-plus page book from short-term memory into permanent, lifelong retention.
And to really pressure test this memorization, different cultures have developed some amazing, intense review tactics. Take the African subjesus circle method. A group of students sit in a circle and each recites one verse in turn. If you make 3 mistakes, boom, you are eliminated from the circle. It's an incredibly high-focus environment that ensures absolute mastery and completely guards against your mind wandering.
Which brings us to our final step, the modern scaffolding, the digital academies.
So, how do 21st century students actually manage this ancient, rigorous process from their living rooms? Let's look under the hood. Academies like Beacon Quran Tuitions and Ajwa Academy use highly dedicated daily and monthly progress reporting systems. These are absolutely vital, especially for keeping parents in the loop. In a tracking memo like this, they log the exact verse read, what was memorized, and crucially, they record specific common mistakes, like a student incorrectly trying to make the whole sound of a word. There are no vague promises here. It is targeted, measurable linguistic correction applied right to this ancient art form.
And you know, this data-driven approach yields incredible results. Look at this. Hamza skipped 10 words in his baseline test, but just 1 month later achieved flawless recitation. Sarah went from reading 5 words correctly in week 1 to 18 out of 20. By providing these dedicated, measurable reports to parents and learners, these academies prove that this complex language acquisition isn't just a pipe dream, it's entirely achievable.
So, what we are really seeing is a true digital revolution in Islamic education. These platforms offer 24/7 global access to native Arab teachers and ijaza holders. They provide the one-on-one personalized sessions that we now know are mandatory for real-time Tajweed correction. They customize pacing and seamlessly integrate digital tools like color-coded PDFs. And academies like Ajwa Academy, which is specifically renowned for its excellence in Hifz and Tajweed programs, are literally bringing elite Azhar-certified scholars directly into homes across the West. They're completely removing geographical barriers. And the social proof? It's just phenomenal. Sarah, a student in London, notes exactly what we've been discussing. Her recitation improved specifically because of clear pronunciation and regular teacher feedback. It's that direct, real-time correction loop in action, right from the UK. Let's move to and see how this builds across the globe. Over in New York, Omar, another Ajwa Academy student, highlights how the one-to-one classes built his confidence and fluency. So you have the exact same personalized growth happening thousands of miles away, completely independent of whatever local resources a student might have. And finally, Zainab in Toronto summarizes the ultimate goal of all this intense structuring, tracking, and repetition. Because it's not just about producing the right sounds, right? It results in a complete learning experience that strengthened my faith. This structured digital scaffolding ultimately facilitates a profound worldwide spiritual connection. Which leaves us with a truly fascinating thought to end our explainer today. We've just seen how a 1,400-year-old, hyper-strict oral tradition has successfully merged with modern data tracking, digital PDFs, and global video calls. So I leave you with this. What other complex historical subjects or ancient sciences out there could be completely revolutionized by this exact level of global, step-by-step online mastery? Thank you so much for learning with me today, Focus Learners. Keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next one.